While waiting for Dennis to come home, she would listen to the neighbor across the hall get steadily drunker and more belligerent until he was shouting obscenities at his TV. She always wondered who or what was a dickless wonder or fucking jack-off. I mean, she never saw any sort of ingress or egress to his apartment door, save for the alcoholic in question himself. That's how she knew, or at least assumed anyway, that he must be shouting at the television. There were never any raised voices besides his own. What a life. As her neighbor got more worked up, she would sometimes pour herself a glass of wine and stand with her ear pressed to the door to better hear his outbursts. She would be able to hear the tread of Dennis's loafers on the soft pile of the hallway carpet whenever he got home, so she could pour out her wine, turn on her own TV set, and curl up on the sofa in the time it took him to fumble in his pocket for the house keys and unlock the door. She wasn't exactly sure that Dennis would disapprove of her eavesdropping on the neighbor. She just liked to keep some things back for herself. Maybe if he was home, he would join her, pour his own glass of wine and stand with his ear pressed to the door, facing her, making faces of mockery or disapproval or eye-rolling contempt. Or maybe he would just shake his head at her, aiming his disapproving gaze at his still young wife. She wasn't sure, but she kept the neighbor to herself. Without fail, at some point every night, the neighbor would get up to empty the bottles out of his trash. She'd always assumed that a quantity drinker such as himself would select a cheap, light, fraternity-style lager. But one night, after she had finished almost 2 glasses of wine herself, she waited until she heard the telltale clink of the neighbor taking out his garbage. Then, after a polite 5-minute wait, took her own kitchen trash out to the hallway receptacle. She had been disappointed to find that he had securely tied his own bag shut, but she had gone too far now, and gingerly untied the bag. Guinness. It was filled with bottles of Guinness. Just goes to show, you never can tell with people. The only problem was that the neighbor didn't always shout. He would get quiet for long periods in which he must have been either engrossed in whatever program he was watching, or had simply passed out in his armchair. She would usually sit in her tiny kitchen, with or without her glass of wine, ear still pressed to the door, and wait for him to reanimate. Before she had passed him in the hall, she would try to imagine what he looked like. Age, weight, possible ethnic and or political leanings, degree to which his alcoholism had begun to manifest itself in his appearance. It wasn't until they had lived in the Pine Grove building for almost a year that she had passed him in the morning and had been surprised to find a young, trim, relatively good-looking man dressed in the professional manner that Dennis also preferred. He looked pressed and starched and ready to climb the proverbial ladder. He nodded to her and smiled, heading for the stairs rather than taking the elevator. It was the same tonight. She sat with her wine and ear to the door, picturing the neighbor, waiting for the sound of Dennis coming down the hallway. The neighbor remained silent. She finished her wine and set the glass on the counter, leaning back against the wall to make herself comfortable for the long vigil. She must have made herself a little too comfortable, because the next thing she knew, she woke to the sound of the rattle of keys on the other side of the door. Startled, she jumped up so fast that she thumped her knee on the cupboard. "What was all that bumping around in here?" he asked as he opened the door. "Oh, nothing. You just startled me is all." "Oh, well, long day. Night, honey." Without another word, Dennis took his loafers off, unloaded his briefcase on the coffee table, and headed for bed, leaving her in the kitchen. Across the hall, the neighbor reanimated, and she poured another glass of wine. This next piece is called Caffeine Cindy. It is the latest piece I created in my workshop this past semester. So this one is super fresh. Caffeine Cindy. There she goes. Look at her. Cindy's the type of woman who you wouldn't be surprised to find out does blow. Like kind of a lot of it. Don't you think? Can't you see her, gingerly lifting a key bump to her nose at noon in the stuttered neon bathroom with TJ Maxx? Sniffing at home in the locked stall surrounded by that close rotten egg smell? Just a maintenance-sized amount to get her through an afternoon of discount shopping. I mean, she probably does it. Of course she does it. People don't just do that. But still, she's got that look, that feel. It's like the opposite of pampered. Look at her. Cindy drinks coffee all day. Cindy chain smokes Virginia Slims and leaves an alien pink lipstick bloom on every toothpick thin filter, collecting them in an elaborate cup glass ashtray as big as a Thanksgiving platter. Cindy counts calories. Cindy has a tapeworm. Cindy is a mostly vegetarian power walker, hatchet-sharp butt cheeks razoring against one another underneath saggy jogging pants. The embarrassing kind, with the elastic around the ankles as well as the waist. Cindy shops at Aldi's. She lives primarily off of 2% milk and the powdered kind of mac and cheese and never gains weight. She's just lucky like that. Cindy is skinnier than you. Too skinny, really. You're fine. You look great. Cindy takes diet pills her old college roommate illegally mails her from Canada or Mexico or China or Taiwan. Cindy doesn't care about the twitchy, sleepless side effects. It's unnatural, don't you think? Cindy stays up too late and gets up too early, and not because she has to. Cindy is careful with her figure. Cindy has tried paleo and Atkins in South Beach, finally settling on raw veganism without the moral attachments. Cindy has tried them all, except Weight Watchers. Come on, she didn't grow up in a trailer park. But she looks like she might have, don't you think? Can't you see her as a dirty, towhead, knobbly-kneed little hillbilly, smoking her grandmother's cigarettes at 8 years old behind some rusted-out, abandoned heap of an automobile, tough and gnarled weeds growing through the vacated engine block? I mean, you'd be wrong, although I couldn't really blame you for thinking that. She's just built that way. She can't help it. It's something malnourished, something lacking in sunshine and vitamin C in her skin tone. Something directly resulting from late nights with mind-altering chemicals and time spent with low and slouching delinquent men in a cloud of marijuana smoke and violent ennui. I bet she's bailed out a boyfriend or two in her day. She looks like the type. If you said it was methamphetamines, I wouldn't be surprised. Although with a relative lack of itchy weeping sores, I'd have to say it hasn't been that long. Cindy has a pot of coffee simmering at all times in her Section 8 apartment, even though she rarely if ever has guests. She could have 8 or 9 kids and never show up because when with child, she just looks like one of those pregnant women who swallowed a basketball, waiting tables at the closest dingy divey diner, slinging muddy coffee right up until the moment her water breaks. No hips is what I'm saying. No curves and soft matronly breasts, no booty to speak of at all, just all sinew and hardness. There's nothing sexy about it. Cindy drinks vodka and Hawaiian punch in the early afternoon and hides it in a stainless steel travel mug so nobody will ever know. Cindy will pick up bingo at a young age, relatively speaking, of course. 45 years old and washed up as all hell, setting up her lucky troll dolls in careful arrangement at her place on a fold-up table at the local hall of the Loyal Order of the Moose, drinking tiny bottles of White Zinfandel, which she pronounces Zinfandale, hoping to win enough money to buy a big blow-up swimming pool to spread out in the postage stamp yard in the back of her apartment building, smug behind giant plastic neon sunglasses, coolly ignoring her neighbors as they go by, profusely sweating in their skin-tight denim. It's her caffeine dream, her favorite cigarette fantasy, her Section 8 way of saying fuck you to the surrounding landscape and especially to its people. There she goes, too skinny. Not like you, don't worry, not like you at all.